What's up, everybody? This is Bernie here from Fusion Corp. Along with my man Pete, we're going to be doing a lot of these type of reviews on our own. Primarily mine is going to be wrestling based, so if you like that, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe this video. And let's just jump right into it. So the first thing we got to discuss about is the kickoff show, which I'm not sure if anybody's really going to be watching, but we'll see how it goes from there. So the first match we have here is Akira Tozawa, who's currently the champion, versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship match. A little thing that kind of upsets me a little bit about Raw right now is just the way they underutilize everybody from the Cruiserweight division. Neville is such a good character and wrestler as well, that it makes me upset that it's just come to this where nobody really cares about the Cruiserweights anymore. People just get bored, they get tired. There's no real emotion from the crowd when I watch it, and I don't know who to blame here. I'm primarily going to blame Vince and Kevin Dunn and anybody else, the creative writing team, because they haven't done anything to really warrant showing these guys on TV. They've been pretty much 5-minute matches. If we're lucky, they're 10. But enough about me rambling about that. Let's just get back to the Akira Tozawa versus Neville. I don't think Neville should have lost the championship in the first place. And it's kind of why I went on that little tangent, is because this match should have happened at SummerSlam if you really wanted to take the title off him and not just on a random Raw. I mean, it's not random, it's the go-home show, but it felt like a random Raw to me. And, I like Akira Tozawa. It's not that I don't have anything against him or I don't like him, but I think Neville just makes the perfect sense for it. Neville should have held the whole time. It would have been better because the payoff would have been such great for whatever Cruiserweight champion will decide to challenge him for the title. And instead we get this off Neville, which in my prediction I'm going to have Neville win the championship back, because I still think that nobody else can compete with Neville on that 205 Live roster. And until they build someone up properly and it's believable for the whole crowd, then I don't think anything's going to really happen about that one. And the next match that we got here is going to be the New Day versus the Usos. One, why is this on the kickoff show? This match should be probably in the middle of the card, on the main event card. So that's why I'm a little bit peeved, because the Usos have been doing their best work since forever, because I didn't really like them that much as faces, but when they turned heel, they ramped their intensity up, and the wrestling has always been great, but it's always that intensity, and that's what I liked about the heel Usos here, especially against the New Day, because I feel like both these teams are off the cuffs. They don't have to be bound by monologues and whatever else they have to talk about in terms of what the people write for them, because they do it themselves. They just give them an outline and they just go after it, and that's what I like about that. It's still, like I said earlier, it probably still upsets me that this is on the kickoff show. And another thing, kind of like what happened with the Akira Tozawa Neville match, which is taking the belts off the Usos so there's no big payoff. I think it would have been better if the New Day would have won at SummerSlam rather than the pay-per-view that they won it in, because it makes no sense to me why you would probably make a big moment gone. I don't know what it is about WWE sometimes. They just don't like the big moments anymore. They decide that big moments aren't in right now, and they've done this to a number of people, including Bayley, when she won it, Raw instead of the WrestleMania. And I feel like this trend is going to keep continuing, which is not very good, and something that I think that should stop as a trend. But like I said, I think the New Day are probably going to retain the championship, and we'll see where the Usos go from there. I'm really excited about the Usos. I think the Usos are the best tag team out there. So let's go on to the next match, which is going to be Big Show versus Cass. And with Enzo suspended in a shark cage, the real question is, why is this match even happening? I feel like we've seen this match in a variety of different ways, in different stipulations, different gimmicks. It just becomes repeat after repeat after repeat. This is probably like a trend that you're probably going to hear me say in the video. Is just, why are we getting this match again? First off. And also, I don't think they should have broken up Big Cass and Enzo. I think those two worked perfectly together. Although there's backstage heat with Enzo right now, I still think that Enzo and Cass are probably deserve a championship run. I don't understand why this is such a... WWE thinks that they need to break up tag teams right now. I mean, there's barely any on the roster because they keep breaking tag teams up. But going back to this match, Big Show versus Cass, it's probably a giant passing on the torch to another giant, which Cass is just not very good. I would say he's getting better, but I don't think he's good enough to where the company sees him at. I will discuss a little bit about it. It's kind of almost like what they did to Baron Corbin, because I've heard backstage rumors that he was supposed to get a good push, to a world championship, and look where he is now. I'll discuss that later in the video. But I mean, if the same mistakes happen again, what benefits does Big Cass have that he's by himself? I feel like Enzo would be a perfect mouthpiece for him, because he is free with his promos. It looks like he's not really bound by anything, and he's creative with it. The only thing that the issue is that Enzo kind of rubs people off the wrong way, because he's the same in the ring as he is outside, which is kind of like that braggadocious, kind of full of himself type of guy, which, it doesn't matter. I don't mind it myself, but, backstage heat, backstage politics, it's going to affect you a lot. But enough about that ramble. I'm going to have Big Cass winning this match, because it's Big Cass versus Big Show. I don't think Big Show's really going to do anything anymore, but who knows? We'll see. And after that match, we have the John Cena versus Baron Corbin match. Man, it's kind of funny to me, watching SmackDown this week, how the mighty have fallen. When I heard Baron Corbin, many months ago, that his was going to get a huge push, the Money in the Bank was the proof of that, and everyone was like, oh wow, we're seeing that Baron Corbin got his Money in the Bank briefcase. It's probably true that he's got, he's going to get the rocket strapped up to him and, win a title. But as we saw on this SmackDown, that was not the case at all. Baron Corbin looked like a complete fool. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know if there's a nicer way to say it. He just looked like a complete fool. I don't know what WWE was thinking here. I don't know what, backstage creative was thinking. It's kind of mind-boggling to me. When I first watched it, I was upset. I was a little bit peeved. I didn't know whether or not they were joking about that. I mean, there were so many things that didn't make any sense to me in terms of that match, and the terms of the cash-in. Was that, John Cena, if he would have left it alone, he would have had a world championship match. Second, Baron Corbin hit John Cena before he got disqualified, went out of the ring, looked at, he said, oh, look, I have the briefcase. I should go cash it in. And I think commentary was also saying stuff about that. And, instead of doing it right away, it just makes him look like a complete fool, like I've said. And is something that I don't understand why WWE did what he did. I mean, the briefcase is supposed to elevate somebody. Whether they cash it in or not, they're supposed to be doing something. But the way that Corbin lost with the roll-up, fresh, it didn't have a match at all. Nothing happened to Baron Corbin. Probably the freshest wrestler that's ever cashed it in history. And he just loses? Why? Why does WWE think that's a great idea? You could have done so much better with the Sami Zayn having it. They didn't really put in the right people for the Money in the Bank match, because all those guys are superstars in the people's eyes. But in order to build these people up, I think Sami Zayn would have been perfect for this championship opportunity. But instead, they gave it to Baron Corbin. I wasn't upset about it. I understand that Baron Corbin's not the best wrestler in the world, but he's also not the worst, you know? He's getting better at his promos. He's getting better at the ring, but his finishers are probably the only thing that's good about him. And now after this, I don't think anything's good about him. I mean, this match has to only end in one way. Baron Corbin has to kick the crap out of John Cena because John Cena cost him the match, and really it didn't cost him anything. It was just WWE's booking that cost him the title. Not any more to complain about. Just hopefully Baron Corbin gets that huge... gets his heat back by just kicking the crap out of John Cena. And that's all I got to say about that. I got Baron Corbin winning this match. Hopefully it's in a beatdown, but we'll see. Next up, we have Cesaro and Sheamus versus Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Like I said earlier in the video, this is probably one of the better feuds on Raw because of the way they built the Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins relationship and how Dean can't trust Seth, and then it just goes back and forth where Dean finally offers it, but Seth doesn't really reciprocate it back. So, you know, they have like a little brotherly squabble. It's all about just getting that fist bump, which is the Shield. For those of you who don't know, it was like the trademark, sign of friendship, I would say. And what I enjoyed about that is that, you know, it brought up continuity. It made it seem like Dean Ambrose is probably going to turn heel in the future. Well, who knows if that'll happen, but I'll be really interested to see about that. And yeah, you know, it's just, I love that dynamic. And then at the end of this Raw, we saw that they finally fist bumped. And what I liked about that was that is a true go-home show moment. Something that we haven't really seen from WWE in a while, other than like the main event. But when you do it throughout the stories that you have for these matches, it just makes it so much better with the go-home show. You know, of course, Raw's 3 hours. It's going to be boring. You're going to be tired. But that's what I liked about it, is just that when it comes to the championship, that I think that they will win against Cesaro and Sheamus, because to me, Cesaro and Sheamus, I feel like that tag team's done. They've done all they could do with that tag team. I think it's time to just, you know, have Cesaro go finally win a championship for a main event championship, the WWE championship. Whether it happens or not, who knows? But I know Sheamus is off filming somewhere, so we'll see if anything happens there, if they still are together. I like the little cheap plug here is the little fusion gimmick that they do. But yeah, you know, the winner to me, Dean and Seth, they'll win the championships. Randy Orton versus Rusev is next, and my question is, why is this happening? I'm a little confused about it. I enjoy Rusev. Rusev is one of my guys. I'm a Rusev guy. I'll put that on a shirt one day. But Randy Orton to me is it didn't make any sense to me because he just lost to Jinder Mahal, and he was just recently involved in that one, and then out of the blue, Randy Orton decides to be involved with Rusev. I think what would have been better is to have that Chad Gable and Rusev, because that, to me, signals money. I think you can make a lot more money in terms of like the matches that you can have, the promos that you can have against him. I think it'll elevate Chad Gable, but it'll also elevate Rusev to being that foreign dominant heel that, you know, the babyface has to conquer. And I think that would have been a better storyline than what we got here. You know, Randy Orton, other than the RKO, I don't really enjoy Randy Orton matches. I don't know what it is about him. I just don't seem that interested. You know, there's some that he goes all out, and I like him, but at the same time, mostly he lives up to the name that the wrestling community gives him, is Randy Borton, because he's so boring. But enough about that little ramble. I have Randy winning because he's a babyface right now and Rusev is a heel. We got Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. I'm a little bit excited for this match. The only reason why is because the Demon's finally coming. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen the Demon, and I think that's probably Finn Balor's best character, because I think more charisma comes out of that character than his regular pop the collar jacket gimmick. And the only issue that I have with this match really is just, I like Bray Wyatt, I like his wrestling, I like his character, I like his gimmick. The only issue I have with Bray Wyatt is he just loses. So I wanna have Bray Wyatt win so he can continue this streak. But when the demon comes out, there's no possible way. I don't see any possible way other than a Finn Balor win. And what'll be interesting to see here is that if Bray Wyatt loses to Finn Balor, will Finn Balor get a WWE Championship opportunity after this? Because I think he's due for one. I mean, hasn't really lost the championship on his own. It's more of he got injured, and then they decided to just kind of kick him to the curb. What makes me upset about that is that he was going to be the guy. He got injured, and then they said change of plans. But to be fair, and to WWE's credit, I understand why, because you give them kind of other opportunities to other people, and they've done that pretty well with Braun Strowman, and they've built him up pretty well because of it. So, you can't be too mad about it, but like I said, I'm going to have Finn Balor win this one. There's no way that Finn Balor doesn't, and we'll see where it goes from there, if the feud will continue or not. And the next match we got is Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's title. This is probably the feud that should have taken place, but instead we got Bayley before the injury, and I'm kind of glad that now it's reverted to this, because Bayley's character has been so damaged, it's been unreal. I can't believe that the money that you could have made with Bayley as a babyface. She's basically the next women John Cena. Or woman John Cena. And I don't get how WWE ruined the character. That's such an easy character to build. It's such an easy character to do storylines for. I mean, she's not the best on the mic, but it's not that hard for her character to get over because every little girl likes her. The family will like her. I mean, she's the girl next door. But instead, they just kind of made her look like a weakling who couldn't hit Alexa Bliss with a kendo stick when they had their match at... I can't even remember the pay-per-view right now, but they had their kendo stick on a pole match. And that's what kind of just upsets me about it, is that now all of a sudden they wanted to bring that match back. But unfortunately, it's going to be Sasha Banks now, which should have been the original plan, because it would have been a perfect build for Bayley and Sasha at WrestleMania. I mean, we could have had Nia Jax had a chance at the title, but I think it would have been a perfect opportunity for Bayley and Sasha. But it is what it is now. It's going to be Alexa Bliss for Sasha Banks, and the dynamic between the two is perfect. I like it. There's real heat. There's real heat between the two, so it makes it more authentic. And it makes you wonder who's really going to win. But I think the real winner is going to be Sasha Banks. The next match is Naomi versus Natalya for the SmackDown Women's title. And I don't think I could care less about it. I like Naomi. I think she's probably one of the best women wrestlers out there. She's athletic. She's got great mic skills. The only thing that's a little bit... I'll knock her points for is just the being able to improvise to talk. That's the only issue, really. But I think Naomi's got the total package. The problem is I just don't know if the fans receive her well. I don't know if it's because the SmackDown writers are just making her kind of irrelevant while there's they do a 5 elimination women's almost every week, it seems like, or at least... It seems like all the women are always involved together, so it makes it very hard to enjoy Naomi building it against Natalya, because it's just the same generic garbage from WWE SmackDown's creative team. 5 women matches, nothing creative for a title opportunity, no tournaments, no nothing. It's just boring. But enough of the rambling. We got Natalya winning here. I think that WWE wants to change the hands of the title and give it to a heel so that you can have Becky and Charlotte fight for the title. Next matchup is the United States Championship match between AJ Styles and Kevin Owens with Shane McMahon as a special guest referee. These matches haven't been the very best. I think AJ Styles and Kevin Owens can give us such a better match, and I think they will this time. Because, the last two have just been wonky finishes, and it's just been a weird kind of feud that I don't think really should have continued into SummerSlam, but WWE has something up their sleeve, it looks like. I think Shane might actually turn heel in a surprise heel turn. I think maybe AJ Styles is going to be like the baby face going against the authority figure, but it'd be too much like the authority, and that's probably not a good idea. So I'm going to go with AJ Styles retaining the title for this one. I think they'll give us the best match that they've given us out of the three. And we'll see how that does from there. Will Shane turn heel? Will he not? Who knows? Next match, we got the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. Like I said earlier, with the Money in the Bank debacle, it just makes this match very, very predictable. Shinsuke is going to win. Kinshasa to the face of Mahal. 1, 2, 3. The modern day Maharaja is no more. It's going to be Nakamura who wins the title from Jinder Mahal because he will be able to take out the goons of the Bollywood boys. And I think it's just time for Jinder to give up the title. It was fun at the beginning, but then when we realized that he is not really good at the mic, there's no bass in his voice. You want him, when you saw the promos, you wanted him to kind of deepen his voice and just yell at the American people, why do you disrespect me? I'm better than you. And we just got like a very high-pitched voice. I thought he did a lot better job when he was speaking in Punjabi because it made his voice deeper, but I don't know what it is when he went to speak English. It just didn't come across as very good. But I thought when he spoke Punjabi, I thought it was a lot better. I don't know if they planned that or WWE thought that if he had more bass in his voice in Punjabi, it would make it sound better and less bass in English. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore because that stuff doesn't even matter because Shinsuke Nakamura is going to have probably the best entrance out of everybody here and is going to win the title. I think it's a little too soon for Nakamura in my opinion, but, I think it works okay. I mean, you could have AJ Styles win not the Money in the Bank, but the Royal Rumble and meet Shinsuke Nakamura, the champion, at WrestleMania. Would have liked it the other way around, but it is what it is. Like I said, without the Money in the Bank, it makes it predictable. Who knows? The main event. We've got Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. This to me is going to be match of the night. I don't see any other match competing with this. With the amount of hype, with the amount of build, this match should tear the house down. It'll be the best SummerSlam match we've probably had in a while. And that's not really saying much. But I think it's probably the most hype because you have Brock Lesnar, who's must-see TV. You got Samoa Joe, who's turning into that, in my opinion. Roman Reigns, who will always get a reaction, so people will be watching or at least staying tuned on Twitter or illegally streaming it. Who knows? I'm not saying to do that. And you also have Braun Strowman, who's getting built up pretty well. I love Braun Strowman against Roman Reigns. I think those two have good chemistry. And I think Joe would be a worthy holder of the belt. I think he is one of the best wrestlers out there in terms of being like a genuine heel that they like him, but they'll boo him because he does such a damn good job of that. And, Samoa Joe just gives off that feel that he is big time. He is must-see. And he cuts probably one of the better promos out there in the WWE. It kind of sucks that it took a while for him to get here to the WWE, but he's here. He's here, the WWE. He's ready to kick some butt. I can't wait to see him just tear the roof down. And this is going to lead me with an interesting point here. Not point, but a question of what do you do with Roman Reigns? In my opinion, I would save Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe for WrestleMania, where you can have Samoa Joe keep kicking Roman Reigns' butt until finally WrestleMania comes around where it's Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns, and you can have Roman Reigns win the title there. But I think that Samoa Joe should hold it for a while because it would mean more for whoever takes the belt off Samoa Joe because of how big time to me he feels. And maybe, Braun Strowman might be the next in line. And I talked about Finn Balor being one of them. I think maybe Braun Strowman will be coming up pretty soon. He's getting babyface reaction. I'm not sure if they're going to go the babyface route with him, but he's getting that babyface reaction. So we'll have to see until a face gets it. But I think Braun Strowman, he's getting himself up there to winning the title. I think he's getting close. I think maybe if he wins the IC title to kind of build him up as like that mid-card to stepping stone to champion, I think it'd be great if he held the Intercontinental Championship belt. But nevertheless, the real question is, will Brock Lesnar go to the MMA? He's got to serve still maybe 4 months of his suspension, so he'll be ready later with his contract coming up soon. I mean, who knows? I'm sure that they want Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania because it'll sell tickets with him being there, but who knows? We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I've got Samoa Joe winning this match. I think it just makes the perfect sense for Samoa Joe to win. And just SummerSlam overall, in my opinion, it's going to be a long night. Make sure you have your pillows. Make sure to have a blanket if if it's cold in your house. And just, get some good food around you. It's going to be pretty long. It's going to almost feel like half your day has been gone if you watch the pre-shows and the whole card. But of course, we got a couple matches here that I'm intrigued with. One of them being the Fatal 4-Way and the Raw Tag Team titles, along with the SmackDown Tag Team titles. But nevertheless, this is Bernie here from Fusion Corp. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, share it with your friends, comment down below what could be done better. Also, let me know if you would like to see Pete on here talk about a little bit of wrestling. Maybe we'll banter a little bit, talk here and there about it. But look for more content coming from me and Pete. I'll talk to you guys later and have a good rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.